94% of YouTube channels never get monetized. So why is that? Well, it became obvious when we did some research and estimated that the average YouTube channel needed 134 videos before they reached monetization. That is hundreds of hours of work. So if the odds are ever not in your favor, then how do you get to that 6%?
Hit the like button, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just kidding. There's a whole entire process that you need to go through, and it all starts with establishing your baseline.
All right, you need to reach somewhere around that 134 video mark. Even if you reach monetization sooner, you need to be prepared that it might take that long. So the first question to ask is, what is your baseline? And there's a way to pretty accurately figure this out, and that is to just look at how often you've been able to publish in the past and how much time it's taking you to be able to make those videos. Establishing your baseline means figuring out how often you're able to publish in the past and not overestimating yourself. We always do this with goals. We say, well, I want to do more, or I don't want it to take 3 years to reach 134 videos, so I'll just publish more. But if you haven't been doing that consistently in the past, it's very unlikely you will. And the most accurate way to figure out what you can do in the future with any goal is to look at what you've been able to do in the past. Of course, I don't want you to stay stagnant. So let's take how many videos you've been able to make and publish consistently in the past and try to increase it by just 10%. If you're able to do that, then great, increase it by another 10%. But to start with, don't think that you can suddenly go from 0 to 60 and stay consistent. All right, so you've been honest with yourself on your baseline in the past. You've added 10% as your goal. Hopefully put it in your YouTube banner. And now it's time to stop publishing.
That's a shocking thing to say. It's like probably not what any of you expected to hear on the channel today. Don't publish any YouTube videos. But don't worry, there's like a very specific reason why we're telling you to stop. It's so that you can take the time to actually make a plan, so that as you plan your 10% increase on what you've been doing, that you can actually be successful. Like Julia said, there are so many people who establish a goal, but they just never follow through with it because they don't take the time to actually plan it out. So obviously, step 1 of the plans, stop publishing. Step 2 is to figure out exactly how many times you're going to be publishing. Is it every other week? Is it once a week? Is it twice a week? Once you figure that out, you're going to know how many videos you need to create so that you can get ahead. We want you to be able to get ahead with your videos so that you never run into a position where you just can't publish because there's nothing to publish. So on my channel, I publish once a week. So I will probably set my new publishing start date out 3 weeks. What that's going to allow me to do is create 3 more videos within that time frame. Videos 1 and 2 will be the videos that will be my extra videos that will kind of be my buffer. And then that third video is going to be the video that I publish on the new start date. So on the start date, I'll have a video to publish, and then I have 2 extra videos, which will keep me from ever running into a position where I just don't have something to publish, because consistency is key.
And the first step, if you don't already have a million good ideas, is, well, 50. Let's go with 50. But with those 50 ideas, you're gonna have a few that are good. And I think a good way to pick from that huge list is to think about which one looks the most fun to you, which one seems the easiest, and which one do you think would be the most helpful for the audience.
Once you have that list of 50 ideas, with a few of them being easy, fun, and just super helpful for the audience, I want you to take the list and just put it to the side, put it somewhere safe. You're gonna use that list later to come up with what we call the secret weapon video. And don't worry, we'll explain it later.
Okay, now this is also another point where you might reach the roadblock, because now instead of ideas, it's time to put them into action, and you might get stuck. And that's a good time to ask yourself, what is stopping you from creating? I asked myself this, and I found that for most people, it ends up being either time, energy, or resources. And the way that actually plays out is different for everyone. So Nathan, what's this look like for you?
Okay, yeah, this is something I'm going through right now. I'm on my personal channel. There's a video that I'm supposed to publish literally tomorrow. And I've just been putting it off for weeks. And so I think it falls into the energy category. I think that I have time at home that I could actually film and edit, but when I get home, I just don't want to do it. I'd rather be doing other things, spending time with family. And so I just been putting it off. So what I ended up having to do is stay up late last night, and then I got up really early this morning so that I could knock out the edit. And so basically for me, it was an energy thing, and then it turned into a time thing, but I had to solve it by just waking up really early. But I think that's something that a lot of people could probably connect with. Like, you get home from work, your day job, and you just don't want to film or edit. That's probably something you've experienced as well, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make with time management is actually getting confused between when they literally don't have time and when they just don't have energy. So they want to spend that time on other things. In a way, it's arguable that you don't have time. You need some time for yourself, but make sure you're clear on if it's time or energy. For me, I've identified that I am just too tired when I get done with work here to go home and work more on videos, what I've been doing all day here. So I am trying to really put aside more time on the weekends, especially for the heavier, more creative parts of my video production process, like outlining videos for the weekends, because I just have to do it that way. But try to look at what is really holding you back for each step of the process so that you can find a solution and not have to be fighting your willpower every single week, because that's not sustainable.
Yeah, okay, I love that. There's an example that I just have to share. So that's something that I've run into a lot. I'm filming on an iPhone. I have luckily a lav mic now. I started out with just using headphones that had a little microphone on it, but those were barriers that I ran into. And then the third barrier that I've really run into is just filming space. I do have an extra room in the house, but it's kind of like a storage room where all the stuff, when we moved, it just sits there. I found this channel that I came across, and we'll put it up on the screen here, but I found this channel where this girl had like 800,000 subscribers and her background was literally moving boxes. And I was like, okay, if she can do that, then I can do that too. I'll put a picture of what my filming setup looks like in my most recent video. It's also moving boxes in the back. Nice. But it was just like, it's not anything special. And I don't know if it's even something to be proud of, but it's just like, if she could grow that channel that large with a background like that where it just didn't look perfect, who am I with a small channel to say that it's not possible? So it was a little thing that really helped me overcome that barrier. It's like, yeah, if they can do it, I can do it. And who cares? Like, who cares what people think?
Yeah, and some of these things you have to fix, and some of them you just have to accept. Right. Like this is an example of you didn't really have to fix much. You just had to accept that it was maybe sort of an excuse or not a big deal, whereas other things you might need to tweak a bit.
All right, one more quick thing that I just have to say. When it comes to all of these different, I don't know, barriers, we could call them, sometimes they just turn into excuses. So what I would highly recommend, and this is what I try and do, and it works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't, but what I try to do is just lower the barrier a little bit, and we mentioned that a little bit earlier, but just lower the barrier for whatever it is. If it's equipment, lower the barrier. If it's time, lower the barrier. If rather than a 10-minute video, you need to film a 2-minute video, just make something. Getting something out there is always going to be better than having nothing out there, because you can always improve in the future.
All right, now it's time for the thing you don't want to hear because it's in all the hype videos, and I hate to tell you, but you need to hear it because it is time to commit. Commit.
It was good. Yeah, I would say more energy and it gets better.
More energy than that? Yeah. Nathan, what do you know about committing?
Not very much, but what I do know is that it's all about the small steps. Like, you need to commit to the plan entirely, but something we discussed earlier was that if you're not committed to like the tiny little steps that are going to get you to the end result, you're just going to fizzle out. What I would recommend, honestly, is just to do something in the next 24 hours so that you have something to show, some work product to show for this commitment that you're doing. If you can't even commit to doing one little thing in the next 24 hours, that's not good.
So you have committed to making those initial videos to get ahead and sticking with your publishing schedule after that. So what does that process look like?
The next thing that you need to do is prepare for launch. Now, what does this mean? To me, this means having your video completely uploaded on YouTube, or at least having it in a folder, like completely ready to go, edited, ready to go. I also want to see you have your thumbnails ready, your titles ready, your descriptions ready, your what's next, cards that might go in the video. Every little element that goes into having a published YouTube video, I want you to have ready for launch.
And 2 to 4 ahead. That's not for one video. Right. That's being ahead on 2 to 4, maybe even 6, depending on how frequently you're planning on publishing once you launch your channel back up again. You don't want to have to tell your audience that you're taking another break when you already took one.
And something to do as you work through the process of creating all these videos is to figure out exactly how much time you're spending on each thing. So if it takes you 20 hours to put a video together, but you only have 15 hours a week, well, then you need to reckon that time. So if you track your time as you go, you're going to figure out what the optimal publishing schedule is for you.
What's the briefcase?
This is the secret weapon. Secret weapon video is essentially just a video that you have when everything has gone completely wrong and you have to get something out there and publish. This is literally going to save your channel. So you want a secret weapon video. Remember that list of 50 ideas? You want to take like the most evergreen topic off of that list, something that's just a really great video idea, and then create the video. And you're going to want to publish it because it's going to be such a good video, but you're going to hold it back. And you're not going to publish it, you're not going to upload it until you have to, until you're in such a desperate situation that if you don't publish, you're going to miss the publishing date. That's the concept of the secret weapon video. It's saved our channel a couple times from missing a publish date, and it's something that can save your channel as well.
That is the secret to never missing a publishing day. If you get that lead and maintain that lead It is so motivating to never miss a publishing day, and you'll be to those 134 videos before you know it. And you will be in those 6% of videos that actually reach monetization, but you can get there faster. You don't have to wait for the YouTube Partner Program, and then your chances of actually reaching a monetized channel are so much higher because you're not waiting around. And so watch this video on how to get it with as low as 200 subscribers. I'm just thinking, the Titanic sunk on my birthday.